I really don't want to take us backwards. And this is for me to put it on the agenda so that the colleagues in the portfolio committee know what my intention is. Chairperson, I think there is deep-rooted corruption at SITA. There is deep-rooted maladministration. There's delinquency. And I would love, whether as myself, as a member of the portfolio committee, or as a collective, as a portfolio committee, that we institute an inquiry into SITA. Because what we are hearing here could really be the tip of the iceberg. I'm sorry, but as Honorable Acting MD was speaking, I had chills down my spine, and a part of me felt like I'm fearing for his life, because if you are going to be a hindrance to people who think they can loot the state, then you're a moving target. And unless we nab and put an end to this, we are not going to succeed. And hence the question that kept coming from the members to say, is this an isolated incident? And sitting here, we are focusing on just the one tender. But I really have a sense that it is deeper. So I don't know, on your advice, whether do we do it as a collective, or do I then write to you myself to say, how do we institute a commission inquiry into SITA? Because at the end of the day, if we are going to be spending 5 million on something that is not even your core function, disciplinary processes, then we are losing the battle. I'll take guidance from you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to all the members of this committee. And thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate. I suppose we were not supposed to be saying anything, which was odd to me, because to be called the whole board to come and say nothing, I think we could have stayed back and saved the millions that we're all worried about. But just on a lighter note. So I think the first point, Chair, because I want to come back to responding to the MD, so that the members don't think that we are rogue and we don't care. We care deeply. We might miss the point and punish the wrong people. So I just want to create that clarity quickly. It won't take 5 minutes. Before we were unlawfully dismissed, we were already starting to investigate this particular tender. And as we were about to start, Minister Gungubele withdrew it. It's just a fact. I'm not being defensive. I like what they have presented as CDH. It gives us a basis. But before we were dismissed, we were given an instruction to do it, and we were starting, and we had to stop. So could we have ended up with something different? I don't know, but we were going to do it. So it's not because of us that it stopped or anything. And the second thing, Chair, is that it's a very complex thing that happened here. So we get reinstated. With a Part A, we still have to do Part B. You find a CDH report. You try to look at where it is. The CDH report is written draft. So you say, okay, that's okay. So it means the work in progress, and we will continue with the other former board members who were there so that we make it a final report. This is our simple understanding, because it's written draft. And we have a discussion with CDH. And they also say, look, quite frankly, we've never presented this report to the board. So to us, it's still a draft. So we don't have a record to say this is a final report. And of course, as a board, to be responsible, we then decided, look, let's get a legal expert to help us to bring everything together. And that is not to say there's nothing to answer to. The corruption is inside and outside SITA. And I think most of the institutions that we work with, we know that. So we actually got a legal company that started the work immediately, because I realized as well that I want to know what actually happened, if there is such a big issue that is actually a storm. So we instituted that to be able to complete the CDH report, so that we then start instituting the right disciplinary processes to people who must be disciplined according to the, but it had to be complete. And just 2 examples, there were some board resolutions which said people must be given the right of response, which they didn't. And I thought, it will be unfair. Can you imagine if you get interviewed and you see a report somewhere and there's a mistake and you are not given an opportunity to actually correct. So that's why we did that. But there are a lot of things, and I won't go into them.